everyone, Julie Deal Mooney here today, and we are going to make stickers. We're going to make these box stickers. We're going to make rectangle box stickers that you can adapt to any size, and then also hexagon stickers that will be full deco, full white space, and then half white space. And we are going to be using Go to the Beach. It's a digital kit by Design Lover Studio. I got that on Etsy. And so we're going to be using the digital papers. And for this project. And if you like this video, please subscribe. And I hope you enjoy it. And I hope you have a long time of making stickers for your planner. So let's get started.
So I went to Etsy and I downloaded some artwork that we could work with to start this project, just to give you an idea. So I purchased Go to the Beach by Design Lover Studio, and there were two different purchases, and one of them had clip art. So you can see I have a bunch of little pieces of clip art, and then the other one had digital papers. Now these three patterns right here came with the clip art, but the rest of these digital papers came in the digital paper pack. So we are going to use this to create our stickers that we're going to create. So I am going to come down here and open up Silhouette Studio. And when I open up Silhouette Studio, this is just how it sets up. It sets up 8.5 by 11 page, vertical. I tend to like to work horizontally, so and that's just really a preference. So right here, the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to click on Page Setup, and I'm going to turn this orientation to horizontal. You do not have to do that. You can set yours up vertically if you prefer. That's really a preference thing. The other thing that you will want to set up here is what kind of cutting mat you have. I have a 12 by 12 Cameo, so that's right for me. But if you have something else, you'll want to pick what you have. You want to make sure that the type of machine you have is picked here, and your sticker paper, whatever your media size, you want that picked here. So I have 8.5 by 11 sticker paper. Right here, you can pick your grid settings, and I like to do mine in 1/8 of an inch. If you can also do, if you only want 1/4 of an inch settings, you can do that. If you want 1/16 of an inch, you can do that as well. But I like 1/8 of an inch settings are perfect for me. You can also snap to guides. You can show your guides. If you want a guide, you can pull it down from here and put it just like that. I don't generally use guides in here. I don't know why. I use guides in everything else, but I do like to show the grid. I don't like to snap to the grid, because if you click on snap to grid, let's just put something in there and I'll show you what happens. If you click on snap to grid, when you move it, it's going to move a lot. I don't know if you noticed that, how far it's moving. It's moving 1/8 of an inch every time I move it. If I uncheck snap to grid and I move it, it's just moving a little bit. So I like mine to move just a little bit. So I don't like snap to grid to be on. And the last thing is the registration marks. We are going to be printing and cutting, so you do definitely need these registration marks to be on. So this is the third little picture over here. However, these registration marks are very big. And so if you would like to change them, you can move them here. I generally leave them at about 1/2 inch. You could go as low as 0.394. That's as low as it'll let you pull them down. I usually do the 0.5 inch one. I don't know if they work better if they're further in, but that's about where I set them usually, because it's kind of a nice balance of I get a lot of my sheet, because you will waste part of your sheet for the registration marks. So once that's all set up and you've got your page configured like you want it, you're going to hit close. Now, if you're going to make stickers and you want them to look nice, you're probably going to want to cut them out. You know, you're going to make 2 sheets that are exactly the same size. And so I like for the edges to be rounded. So at this point, I said I don't use the guides, but I am going to use the guides right here. I just want a guide. Show guides. Okay. So I want that one to be away. I don't want to see it. Okay, because I just put it in there. Okay, so I want a guide at 5.5. And you can see up at the top it says X 5.5. So I know I've got that in the right spot. And I'm choosing 5.5 because my sheet is 11 inches this way, and that is my midline right there. So, so that way I can figure out exactly where the middle of my page is. Now there's something else I want to show over here. Down here on your first tab on your page setup, you want to show print border. That's the little gray line. And it's kind of hard to see because my grid is gray and my line is gray. So I'm going to come back over here and I'm going to change my grid to blue, but I'm going to make it like a lighter blue. Okay. And then you want show cut border. So your cut border is going to be in red and your print border is going to be in gray. So you can't print anything outside of that gray line that runs right along here. And you can't cut anything that goes outside of this red line. Now, in addition to that, these places where the cross marks are, you don't want to put anything there either. You don't want to print anything. Let me make that clear. You don't want to print anything there because your Silhouette machine needs to read these registration marks. So, however, you can put your cut mark right there. So I tend to put mine right inside those lines. And if you come up here to the little mouse with the plus sign, you can drag your mouse and it will zoom into that amount of area. Other ways that you can zoom in, on my computer it's the command key, but if you have a PC it will be control. You can hit command plus and get bigger, command minus and get smaller, which is a huge thing. You can also click right here and that will make you get bigger. This will make you get smaller. This one right here will fit to window. So I'm just going to zoom in right there and you can see my cut line is going to be right here and that is the edge of, it's very close. And so we'll go down to the bottom and see how close it is there. It's very close there as well. But it's not on it, and so that's all I need. No, I think that's fine. Okay, so now that I've determined what that size is, I am going to move this box off to the side and let it just sit over there because otherwise every time I'm trying to do something on this page, this box will be in my way. But I will keep it over here and I know that when I come back, I'm going to put one here and then I'm going to put another one over here and that will make my 2 sheets of sticker paper. So those will be my outside cuts. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do, this is kind of a more involved tutorial on how to use Silhouette Studio as well as how to make stickers. So, okay, so the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to go over here to Library and I'm going to go over here to Patterns and I am going to right click and make a new folder. And I'm going to call this Go to the Beach Design Lover Studio. Okay. And they are alphabetical. I don't think they're going to let me do anything but alphabetical. Okay, so my folder is empty. I'm going to make my Silhouette Studio smaller so that I can also see my Finder window over here. And I'm going to change that to a list so that I can see them all. Okay, so I have my clip art and my digital papers. I want the digital papers. So I'm going to take all of these digital papers and I am going to drag them into my library. And this will just take a moment. It's just going to load them all up. And so now they are all in my library. So when I come back over here to design, I'll get that back again, and I make a square, I can come over here to my fills, and you have color, gradient, and pattern. It'll take it a moment to load the patterns. And then there's going to be a bunch of patterns that came with Silhouette Studio, and then I have added patterns. I do patterns for every week, and so I have my August patterns here, and they are in alphabetical order. This was another set of clip art digital patterns that I bought from Etsy. Then I have glitter. I have all kinds of colors of glitter if I want, and I added those myself. So I'm going to go to the Beach Design Lover Studio, and you see I have all of these, all the clip art. And so all I have to do is, if I want to fill that, I just click on that picture. And so zoom in a little bit. It looks fuzzy. It will print just fine. If you get up close, you can tell it's not fuzzy at all. And so that's how you get all of your fills that you have from your clip art into your artwork. So let's start with boxes. Okay, one of the first things about creating things, designing things, is design to size. Don't make it and then try to size it. You want it to be the right size when you start, because when you start messing with it, that's when things start looking funky. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a rectangle. And I just know by what I know is that I want my rectangle boxes to be a 1/2 inch tall and 1.5 inches wide. That's just what I want. You can choose whatever you want. So if I click on this, it's 1.847 wide and 0.495 high. So I'm going to go over here to the transform panel, and it looks like alignment. And then there's one that has an arrow that's pointing up and diagonally, and that's for scale. And so you're going to come over here and you're going to say 1.5 and 0.5, or whatever dimensions you want. And then you have to click apply. And then it is going to make the rectangle exactly the size that you want it. Now, I'm pretty happy with the rounded corners of this box, but if I didn't like how they were rounded, you can move these little red circles right here to adjust the diameter of the rounded circle on it. So there's that. Okay, so where the red line is, that's where it's going to cut. So we want our print to be a little bit bigger than where it's going to cut, because the cutting is pretty good, but it's not perfect, and so you don't want a little bit of white on the edge of your sticker. So you want your design to go a little bit bigger than the size of your cut lines, and this is called bleed. And so to do this, what I'm going to do is I am going to open the offset panel, and with that box selected, I'm going to say offset, and it automatically offsets it by 0.125. That is way more than you need. So I'm going to change that to 0.05 and click apply. And then you can see now I have two boxes. I have one box that's the size that I want it to cut, and then I have another box that is bigger by 0.1 inch. So it's 0.6 by 1.6. So we don't want this one to cut, and so anything with a red border is going to cut. So I'm going to give that no border, and then I'm going to come over here to the fill, and I'm going to pick a different one this time. Okay, I'm going to pick one of my oh, that's cute. So I'm going to pick one of my backgrounds. And so there's that. However, you need a space to write in. So you go back to your original red line, the red line circle, and you're going to come back over here to the offset panel again, and you're going to do an internal offset. Now that one, it's still, so I'm trying to get a border. So I'm going to change that to 0.1 and apply it and see. Yeah, I like that. Okay, so now this one, we don't want this one to cut either, so we're going to turn the border off. And then this one's going to be white because this is where you're going to write. So there you go. So now we have a box with a border, and if you if that's too much border, if you want more room to write with, you could always go back and offset it again. You don't want to do 1.25. At this point I would do like maybe 0.03, apply, and then you have to go back and take the red border off, because anything with a red border is going to cut. So you don't want anything that you don't want to cut to not have a red border. So now you can see we have a printed, something that will print, will cut the border, and then we have the white box on the inside of it. Now, I just know because I did this a moment ago that I have another white box. Oh, that's my smaller white box. Okay, so I had that extra white box in there, so I'm going to delete that one. Okay, so now we're good. So we have this laid out. So we have one box done. So if I want to make more boxes, knowing that we can't get where that little box is, we can't get in this little X area, I'm going to sit it right here. And you will select, to select all of it, you don't have to go all the way around it, you just have to drag over top of it, but you need to make sure you get the pattern border, the red cut border, and the white border. And then what we're going to do is we are going to replicate them, and that is the replicate panel. Kind of looks like a butterfly to me. I'm not sure what it's supposed to be. So you can do all different kinds of, all this is going to do is duplicate what you have. And a lot of times, like I know that I'm going to want 3 across. And so that the first one will make one that goes to the left, this one makes one that goes to the right, this one makes one that goes down, this one makes one that goes up. If you know you want more than one, you can do 2, you can do 3, you can do 2 down, you can do 3 down, or you can fill the page. I'll hit fill the page and we'll see what happens. and this is, it fills it like that. That's really not what I want. And there's a lot of gappy space between all of those, and I want mine closer together because I want to get more out of my sticker paper. So I am going to move mine right over here where it was, and I am going to do a row of 3. So you can see there's my middle line, and I have plenty of space. And so what I would do at this point is I would group each one of these because I would give them a little bit more space in between. So I'm going to select all 3 parts of this box, and I'm going to group. I'm going to select all 3 parts of this box and this. So each one of these now is one thing, and I don't have to worry about the pieces and parts going wonky. So now I've moved them all around. I want them all to line up. I put them over here. I want them to kind of be equally spaced in this. You know, I'm trying, but it's not working. Okay, so come over here. You want to select all 3 of the boxes. You're going to come up here to your Align tool. Alternately, you can come over here to your Align tool. These tools and these tools right up here are exactly the same. And you want to click on Align in the middle, which will slightly move them all. Here, let me make it more obvious. Okay, and then let's see. Okay, so this will make it way more obvious. Okay, so I'm going to align them in the middle, and then I'm going to space them horizontally. And so that gets them exactly spaced out and aligned. And you can see they're closer to this line over here than they are to this over here. So I'm just going to select them all and move them. And I'm just going to kind of eyeball them in the center. I'm not going to get them perfectly in the center. And so then, if I wanted to do a whole page of boxes, I would come over here to my replicate, and I would say, do a column of 4, and do another column of 4, and do another column of 4, and then it doesn't look like 4 is going to fit. Even that last one is touching down here, so I need to get rid of that one. And then, so this is what I would do if I were doing it. I would select this bottom row, and I would move it down to about right there. And so then I would take the vertical columns and I would distribute those vertically, just so that they all line up nicely, they look nice. And this is just how I like to do them. Okay, so we have a whole page of boxes. The only problem is they're all exactly the same, and you're not going to want all your boxes to look exactly the same. So what we're going to have to do to change the patterns and the colors and that sort of thing, we are going to have to ungroup these. But you don't have to ungroup them individually. You can select the whole group of them and ungroup. And now at this point, you need to be very careful, because if you move one thing, you've now moved it. They will come apart. They're, your pieces are going to be, they can very easily shift, so you have to be careful with that. Command Z is undo. I've found with Silhouette Studio, sometimes you have to hit Command Z twice to get it. Like, if I move this and I hit Command Z, it moves back, but sometimes it takes 2 moves to move it back. So just be very careful about moving things around when you have them ungrouped like this. I will edit them and then group them back, because I don't like the chance of them getting accidentally touched and moved. Okay, so now we want to go back in and change what the background is of all of our boxes. So we'll go here, and you want to make sure that you're not clicked on the one that has the red outline. You want to make sure, and it shows the red outline up here, but if you make sure, if you zoom in close enough and you make sure you click outside of the one with the red outline, you will definitely get it. And you can tell when you come over here, oh, I want to your fills, and you can see that when I change that, it changes exactly what I want it to change. So, okay, so let's take this one. So this is a really cute pattern. It's a stripe with a, let's see if we can show it big. A stripe with a glitter. But you don't see all of that when you're in here in Silhouette Studio because the pattern is so big. So you can go to Advanced Options, and you can reduce the scale of your pattern so that you see more of it. You can also angle your pattern if you want it to go at an angle. This is a nice one that I would definitely do at an angle. And I would probably, I might even do that kind of small. And so you can do that with any of your patterns. You can angle them. You can also come in here and pan your pattern. So if you click on pan pattern and it's got that button right there in the middle, click on that button, you can kind of move it around so you can see what parts, if you know you wanted to put flowers in a certain spot or something, you can pan that pattern around and get it exactly where you want it. So that's nice for that. So I would just quickly come in here and pick each one of my patterns because I have a ton of them over here. Now see that one, I don't know that I would even use this one because it's more of a picture. I might go over here. Never discount what kind of crazy things you could do with a pattern. I would probably go somewhere like that with that one. Okay, so there we go. So I'll just keep going in here and picking the patterns. Same with this one. I'm going to scale that one up and pan it. And then just get that pink polka dot. This is a really cute set of artwork. Okay, is there more? Good grief, there's a lot in here. These look the same. Oh, they're slightly different color. Okay, so I have used all of my patterns. I have a ton of boxes with a lot of different things. Now I want some boxes that have some solid colors. So, for solid colors, we're going to do something else. We are going to open and navigate your way back to your folder where you have all of your artwork that you're going to use. If you don't have artwork, you could just make up some colors. Once again, I strongly suggest that you choose colors. Let me think of how to say that. Choose a color palette. It's just a really good thing to do. So I'm going to just take this one. We'll use this one for our color palette. Okay, so I just opened up the JPEG of this piece of artwork. And I'm holding down my shift key to make it smaller because it was huge. And so now I'm going to come back over here to my fill and then just the color. And right down here at new palette name, I'm going to call this Go to the Beach Design Lover Studio. Design Lover Stud is what I got. Design Lover Studio. Okay, so I made a palette. This is my palette. These are other palettes that I have made previously. So I'll take the eyedropper. I'm going to eyedrop this light blue. I'm going to come over here and I'm going to make a box that color. And at that point, I'm going to hit the plus symbol under my pattern, and that gives me that light blue color. And then I'm going to come over here and I'm going to eyedrop and I'm going to use the darker blue. And I'm going to hit the plus symbol. And then I'm going to come over here and get the eyedropper, and I'm just going to keep doing this for all the different colors that I want from this palette. And so then I'm going to come over and get a really light pink, and then a medium pink, and then a bright pink, and then a light green, and a medium green, and let me zoom out and see. I think I'm going to avoid those peachy colors. I think that's enough colors right now. Okay, so I have chosen my color palette, and this is my Go to the Beach Design Lover Studio. If you hover over the little palette, it will show you that. And so now at this point, I'm just going to close this file out. I'm not going to save it. I'm not going to do anything with it. That color palette is now saved in every Silhouette Studio file that you open up. To get rid of it, you would have to right click on it and say delete. And so for now, it's in there, and anytime you go to your fills and scroll down, that design Go to the Beach Design Lover Studio will be in your file. So you now have all the colors that you want for this group of stickers that you're doing. I strongly suggest creating this palette. It makes a huge difference on, you don't have to keep trying to get a color that's kind of close to something else. You just have a set of colors. It makes designing things so much easier. So now I'm just going to come up here and I want to just click these and I choose my colors. And so I'll just go through and choose one of each color. And then I have a bunch of solid color boxes. And I'll go back and start over again just so that we have a whole page of rectangular boxes. Now, you can do this with, these are smaller boxes. You can do this with, you can make your boxes taller. You can do whatever. If you're going to make your box taller, okay, here's another one. Hold down your Option key when you click on something, and it will copy it as you move it over. So you left your one here, but you got one here. Okay, I think the natural inclination would be, if you wanted to make a taller box, would be to pull it like this. Okay, that's not going to work because you see how this box, because you've pulled it, it's wider here and here than it is here to here. Now, you can do all of that. You just need to get rid of all of this and start with this box and go back and give your box the rounded corners that are pretty. And then go back over here and, oops, wrong one. Over here to the offset and offset it by, I can't remember what, I think I did 0.5. And get rid of the red border. Now you're over here, you can pick one of your colors and then go back to your red border and do your internal offset. I want those to be rounded. It's not going to let me. And make it white. And you can change your so because this does not let me change, this looks okay, so that's the one that's going to cut. It really doesn't matter what this one is, but because it's not letting me change the corners on this and it made them square, I would go back in here. This is 1250 by 702. And so what I would do is I would go back in here and draw a box and make it the same size. 1.250, and that was 0.702. Apply. Okay, and then I would take this one out. I would take this one and change it to white and get that nothing. Okay, and then I would put this over here. And obviously, I don't like how these look. Get this back kind of looking like your other ones. I mean, you want it to be as close as possible. You can sit it up there and see those are very close. Okay, and then place it there. Once again, don't trust yourself for aligning things. Let the computer do it for you. Select all three of your boxes. Come up here to your align tool. If your boxes ever get out of whack, you accidentally move one and you don't move it back and then you realize it's messed up, let the computer align it for you and it will align it. And then at that point, hit the group, which is Command or Control G. And now I've got them in all grouped together. It's very obviously G for group, and so it's super simple to remember. And so if I were truly doing these and I was going to print them out, I would come over here and select this and hit Control G. I would just quickly do that for every one. I would just, and so that way each one of my boxes would be individually grouped, and it's harder to do for the ones in the middle because you know you have to get to the middle, but I would individually group all of those. Okay, so those are straight up boxes. Okay, let's say you want to make some hexagon boxes. Okay, so this took me forever to figure out how to do. I had to go look it up. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit. Okay, so I have made a pentagon because that's what Silhouette Studio does. It also weirdly puts it at an angle, which drives me nuts. Like, this angle is not straight, and to me, like, if I was going to do a pentagon, it would look like that. But that's not how it does it. So I would think you mostly want a hexagon. You may want some other. And this is not, it was not intuitive to me. If you look in the middle of this pentagon, it says 5 right there. And there is a little black slider, which I didn't know was a slider. And, oh, it's upside down. Okay, let me turn it back around so it's right side up. So you can see it says 6 now. You can make it 8, 9, 10. You can make as many as many sides as you want to. So hexagons are kind of the thing, not pentagons. So, and I like to turn mine so that it is even, so that if I put it on the guide, it fits right there. So I think about 1 inch for your hexagon sticker is about the right size. I really would just eyeball this if it were me. So once again, so now I have a hexagon because I've used that little slider and I turned it around, I got it straight. So once again, this is my cut line. So I need to come back over here and offset it. And I'm going to offset it by 0.05. And I'm going to apply that. And I'm going to get rid of that color. And then I'm going to come back over here to my fill. And I'm going to come down to my fills that I picked out. And I'm going to pick that one. Ooh, baby. And I'm going to put that, I'm going to turn it so that it's kind of at the same angle as the hexagon. And I'm going to increase it. Okay, so that's just going to make a cute little hexagon sticker. And so that's cute. I could group that. But I'm going to hold down my Option key and, oh, I accidentally got that little slider that gave you the sides. I'm going to hold down my Option key and drag it over and have another one. And so sometimes I really like the hexagon stickers that you can write in that have like a half of it is white and half of it is the pattern. So I am going to click on the hexagon that has the red outline, and I'm going to come here and I'm going to do an internal offset, and I'm going to do 0.14. I am just eyeballing this for the size that I want, and I'm going to, oh, I don't want the outline to be white. I want the inside of it to be white. So you could do a sticker that's like this. So now you've got a hexagon with an outline. Okay, so I'm going to hold down my Option key and I'm going to move it over, and we're going to do a different one. Now on this one I'm going to zoom in closer so you can see what I'm doing. Okay, so but really what I want is I want the box to be just the bottom half of this hexagon. So I'm going to click on the white hexagon in the middle, and I'm going to click on this tool over here that has the points. And you will see when I do that, there's a gray point on every point of this hexagon. So I'm going to click on this hexagon point up here, and you can see the line turns red and the dot turns white. And then I'm going to hit the delete key, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to click on this one right here, and I'm going to hit delete. And then you have a box that is halfway filled with color, halfway filled with hexagon. So those are 3 types of hexagon stickers you can make. At that point, once I got those done, I would hit Control G. I would select all 3 of them, Control G and Control G. And if I was going to make a sheet of them, I would pull these off to the side, put this one up here, and I would go over here to my replicate. Oops, you have to be clicked on it and then hit replicate. And I move them over slightly. Do this. Okay, so from this point, if I was going to do this, I would click on this one, and I would use the align left, sorry, and then I would just move this one down a little bit, just with my arrow key. I'm just tabbing that one down, and then at that point, I would do that one across, and then I'd do the same thing with this one. I would just gets them all aligned up, slide that one down, and then move it over 4. And then I would select all of those, and I would go to Object, Ungroup. You can also do Command Shift G to ungroup them. And then at that point, you can come in here, choose your fill, scroll down. Let's see. I could also do glitter if I wanted to, because I have glitter. Where am I? There I am. And then same with these. Now these you just, the ones where you have the outline, you just have to make sure that you get the outside box. Oh, that one's really cute. Okay. So there you have hexagon stickers in different types. Okay, so I think that pretty much covers boxes and what you would do for boxes. I guess there could be some other kind of boxes you would want to do, but the concept that you would use for them would be exactly the same as what you've done here. So you definitely, at some point, you want to save. I like to save to the hard drive. That's just me. I like knowing it's on my hard drive, so I'm going to call this Go to the Beach Box Stickers. And I'm going to save it, and so then it will be in my folder here. And go to the Beach Box Stickers, and if I click on it, I can see a preview of it. Oh, I forgot the part about the, okay, so at this point, we have all these stickers. Let's just say we're gonna, I'm gonna group okay, I just grouped all of those, so they're all in one. And I am going to replicate them down so that I have okay, so I have a full sheet of boxes. I am ready to go with boxes with this. So I want my sheets to, I don't want to have this big piece of 8.5 by 11 paper. I want to have nice sheets of stickers. And I'm going to move that down some. And so I want my stickers to look all nice and pretty. And so I'm going to align this box on the center line that I created earlier. And then I'm just going to make it a little bit wider. Okay, so I'm going to change the stroke color of this. It does not matter what you change it to. For some reason, I just do green. I do red and I do green. Okay, so I've got the one box here, and that's going to cut my whole sticker sheet out. And then I'm just going to replicate that over, and then just give it a good look to make sure that it's not going to cut off any of your stickers. And so then what we would do is you'd go over here to send. Now, when you look at this, everywhere there's a red line, it's going to cut. Well, obviously, this is not what you want to do. You do not want 3 cuts on every one of your stickers because it is reading every item as a cut line. So it's currently on simple right here. That's what that's doing. So what you want is you want it to be over here on line. And so there are 3 options at this point. The lines that you have in this file, you have some that are outlined in red that you want it to cut as stickers. You have a couple of things outlined in green that you want to cut the whole sheet of paper out, that you want it to cut through the sticker part and the backer paper. And then you have some things that have no border, and so those things you don't want them to cut at all. So no border is unchecked because you don't even want it to cut. The red you want to cut as sticker paper, and I have already saved mine as sticker paper matte removable. It's all of my sticker paper. This is the settings that work for me. If you're not sure what settings work for you, I highly suggest you take a piece of blank paper and you try cutting one thing and you test. Silhouette has sticker paper settings. Oh, let's go up here. Let's see. So, sticker paper white. Okay. So Silhouette settings are 2, 14, and 8. If I use those cut settings, it will cut all the way through my sticker paper. I use 1, 7, and 10. Yours is probably going to be somewhere between mine and Silhouette's. It just kind of depends on your machine. You just kind of have to get to know your machine. And once you figure out what yours are, either write it down or save it in your Silhouette machine as one of your cut settings. So I know that this is what works with mine. And so now the green one I have set as sticker paper cut through. So I've just saved these settings. And for me, sticker paper cut through is the blade is set at 3, the force is 22, and the speed is 10. And so that is what will give me a good cut. So I'm going to grab a piece of paper and I'm going to send this to the Silhouette. Oh, that's pretty funny. I can't send it to the Silhouette yet because we haven't printed it. So you have to go back to design and you want to make sure that your registration marks are on because they have to print for this to work. And you want to go to print page setup, and I want it to be horizontal because that's how I set it up. And then I'm going to print. And mine automatically goes to two-sided. So I am feeding from my rear tray. Photo paper and best is what works for me. You just need to figure out how to print on your printer because it's different on each printer. Also, once again, if this is the first time you're doing this, I would take a piece of sticker paper, the same piece of sticker paper that you're going to use to test your cut settings, and write the word top on it and set that in your printer face up. And when it come and print something on it, just one thing, you don't have to print much, and then make sure that, find out if it's printing on the top or the bottom. Write that down. Write it down with the same place that you put your cut settings. And to test your cut settings, cut one thing. If it cuts all the way through, lighten it up a little bit, move your little thing over, cut it again. Just keep cutting it on the same piece of paper so you're just not wasting a whole bunch of paper, because when I first started, I would try to print and cut something like this, and I would get so frustrated because it would take so much time. It would waste ink. I didn't get the stickers that I wanted because my cut settings weren't right. I didn't have it all set up correctly. And sorry, my printer was having some issues on what type of paper was in it. So it really is in your best interest to figure out what your cut settings are and what your print settings are before you try to actually print something that you're going to cut the boxes for, or the words. So that's how to do the boxes. So I'm printing that, and then I will send it to the machine in just a minute. Okay, so we are ready to cut out our stickers. So I have my Silhouette mat, and I have my Silhouette machine. I need to turn it on. And then I have my sticker paper that I printed out, that I created while you were watching. And I am going to sit this down just as straight inside the line of the machine, of the mat as I can. So I've got it all set down, nice and neat. And I'm going to line my Silhouette
mat up with the blue line right here. I have a Silhouette Cameo, I think it's a 3, and I think the 4 is out now. And it has the auto blade. So if yours is different, it might be slightly different than this if you have a different version of Cameo. So I kind of hold it right where that arrow is and hit the load button. It tends to load really well. And I have to say that that is something from, I had the original Cameo Silhouette, and going from that to the 3, this loads so much better, I have to say. I like that a lot. So it says it's ready here. And so now I am going to go back over to my computer and I am going to send it to print. Okay, so I have my file here ready to go. We went through all of the cut settings and made sure that they were correct. My red lines are going to cut on sticker paper. My green lines are going to cut all the way through, and oh, I hope that didn't change it. No. So it is ready to go. So I am going to hit the send button. And then at this point, the Silhouette, okay, so it is having a registration mark error. If it does that, you definitely, well, I like to unload it. I hit the unload button again, and let's load it. Okay, I have a light here. Sometimes if the light is not strong enough, then the Silhouette will not be able to read the registration mark. So I have a light that I keep by, so I'm going to move it over here and hope that that fixes it. However, when you get back over here to your Silhouette Studio, you're going to want to close this one out and just start all over again. And so at that point, I click the old one that says, do you want to resume it? I don't want to resume it. I just want to start over and send it. So let's see when I turn on this light if that helps for it to read the registration mark. It is a weird quirk of Silhouette that this is how that works, but it does. And so it's not the quietest of machines. And so now the auto blade is getting itself set to the cut settings for the boxes. And one thing that I didn't mention before is that you want the boxes to be on top right here. You want it to cut the boxes first before it cuts the outside lines. Because if it cuts the outside lines, it makes it a little less stable in the machine. So you can see the Silhouette machine is going around and cutting each box. And now the machine is going back and it's recalibrating the cut settings for the outside line cuts. And so now it's going in and cutting the sticker sheets. And there we go. We're going to unload the machine and we'll put our stickers here and peel off the outside edges. And then peel up the sticker sheets and then see how we did. So here we go. I will peel up one of my little stickers, and there you go. You can see the hexagon. I'm going to try to put it back on the sheet. And yeah, so we have sheets full of stickers, and they all have cut lines. And so there you have it. That is how you print stickers, sticker boxes. Stay tuned. This was part 1, and part 2 is going to be how to do words and make stickers of words. So it's a little bit different
kind of similar, but a couple of extra things. So I hope you enjoyed this. Please print some stickers. Tag me on Instagram. I'm at Julie Jill Mooney. And if you like this video, please subscribe. Thanks so much and have a great day. Bye-bye.